What a compliment. For that, I thank you.
What is happening now? They are homeless and hungry.
Now it's time for us to stand up for God or we'll fall to nothing.
It's time now for Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Listening to the general public, what the public is saying.
And good afternoon, Radio Cayman Nation, and a very happy Wednesday to you. Thank you for tuning into your station of the nation, Radio Cayman. I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Only 2 days left in the 2020 countdown. 1 day left if you don't count today. Some people count today, some people don't. I count today, so 2 days left. And we do wish to extend a very warm thank you to all of our loyal listeners out there in Radio Cayman Nation. You stayed tuned to us throughout the year and through thick and thin, through highs and lows, and unfortunately a few more lows than highs this year. But overall, you have been with us, and we're very grateful for that. We will be kicking off today's show with a chat with the National Drug Council. As always, we do welcome your stories, feedback, and questions and invite you to join our conversation. Simply dial 1-800-534-8255 or 949-8037. Or you can always WhatsApp us at 925-3261. We'll be back with more talk today right after this very brief disclaimer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Live Communication.
Let your voice be heard.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you are just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And the debate's on. Is it 2 days left until 2021, or is it only 1 day left until 2021? Very pleased to have in studio now Ms. Jody Ann Powery, Police Media Officer with the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. And joining us shortly will be Mr. Simon Miller, Prevention Specialist and Information Manager with the National Drug Council. He's on the way to the studio, so if you do see him on the roads, please, gently move to the side and let him get on by. We have to get him back on the show.
Please do.
Please do. If not, he's going to be in trouble with Miss Jody Ann. And I don't know if you want to be in trouble with the police this time of year. Not the year, not the way to end the year, right?
No, not at all.
So, Miss Jody Ann, the year has almost come to a close. It's December 30th. Unbelievable.
It is. It definitely did go by pretty fast, although 2020 was kind of a different type of year, and a lot of people might not say that it went away pretty fast, but I think it was pretty
strange
fast.
enough. I think I would agree with you. It went by fast.
It went by fast. I think so. Maybe it was because all the goals and challenges that you had set from January to now haven't been met particularly. So you're kind of like, where's the time? I need the time to get to where I needed to be. But yeah.
It's funny. I kind of wonder things. I've spoken to a few other people who also mentioned that although there was a clear lull in the year, right, and there was a lagging as far as things that we could do, we didn't have a lot of change, right? So everything kind of got blended together and became one massive day, if not one massive month that we've just kind of lived through. And so are you going to try to reset some of your goals for 2021?
Well, I'm gonna hope that I get to a few of them, but I'm not gonna plan very much for this year. I think 2020 has definitely taught us that we need to think on our feet. We need to think on our feet. Yes. Yeah. So
just like right now, it's gonna be dynamic. We now have Welcome to the
Simon
show.
in the house.
Thank you very much, sir. Ray. I thank you for clearing the traffic for me. I heard you guys
See?
earlier. Thank you so much, sir.
Anybody that thinks that Radio K-Man does not have the power and the influence clearly does not know our
The
airwaves.
power of the media, right?
It is, it is.
Jody, and good seeing you.
You too, Simon. I'm very happy to see you.
Simon. You know, funny story on that one. There was one time Dwayne was on the way to the studio, and we did that same kind of announcement, and literally the car in front of him looked up, saw Dwayne behind them, and moved their car out of the way. Let Dwayne
That's
get by.
hilarious.
So it
That's
does work.
community service right there.
That is community service. Anyhow, Simon, welcome back to.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for allowing us an opportunity to get the message out there. You know,
Absolutely.
We are almost there. Almost there. So-
Final leg.
Yes.
We're in there. So, before we get into the more serious nature of our show, any New Year's resolutions from your side going into 2021?
You know what?
I love. You know what? Now hold on a sec.
That's a tough one. I know I want to focus on being a lot more grounded come the new year. So
Like present and grounded.
yes,
Okay.
presently grounded. Yes.
All right.
So that's one thing I'm definitely going to work on for
Good for
sure.
you.
So yes,
Any tips that you're kind of using to kind of stay in that
a
mindset?
lot of meditation, Ray. A lot of meditation.
Hey, that's the.
Yes,
funny
sir.
enough, that's one of the most common New Year's resolutions for 2021.
Blessings.
Is to kind of go with that same route of being more present, being more grounded, being more mindful. It's just one of the most common ones. There's always the fitness ones and the I want to get healthier, I want to save more money, I want to read more, or I want to spend more time with my family. But the mindfulness one is actually one of the most common ones. And I think it's because of tagging on to what you said, Ms. Jodianne, about how 2020 has just been that year that punched everybody in the gut and everyone went, whoo, reset, time out.
Absolutely.
So it's
Has been.
all right.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump right into the NDC and talks about it, because I know we've had the NDC on the show about 3-4 weeks ago, and we were talking about the shuttle service taking place tomorrow night. But walk us through some of the logistics before we get into it.
Well, how this all came about, Ray, for a number of years, well over a decade, Hurley's Media has always been doing their Purple Ribbon Pledge. RCIPS has always been doing their, road stops and deterrents. And at the National Drug Council, will be our 20th year since doing the Purple Ribbon bus service on New Year's Eve.
Correct.
So it only made perfect sense for us to, come together, unite our efforts, to be under one common umbrella, to send one loud message, to the persons, not only in the Cayman Islands, but worldwide. But here in the Cayman Islands, we particularly looking at our services that we offered, and it's threefold. You have the Purple Ribbon Pledge from Hurley's Media, which is, you take the pledge not to drink and drive throughout the holiday season. There's the Designated Driver Program, which is our partnership with our restaurants and bars across the island, and as well as Kim and Brack, where you agree to be a designated driver for your group, and you receive free non-alcoholic beverages for the evening. And then the last piece of the program or campaign is the New Year's Eve bus service, which is the Purple Ribbon Bus. So that is pretty much, in a nutshell, the combination of our efforts, and the bus service is what we're here really to highlight. I think the other parts of the campaign has been going fantastic.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we've been getting a number of calls, and people has been walking up to you, in the streets, in the supermarkets, and like, hey, thank you. But it's not thanks to us, not the RCIPS or Hurley's Media or Radio Cayman or the National Drug Council. It's really thanks to those corporate sponsors who make this happen year after year, and all of those restaurants and bars also for giving, their gracious act of giving during the holiday season. That is where the thanks is all owed to.
If I remember correctly, the establishment part of the Designated Driver Program, they have a keychain.
Yes,
Is that correct, right?
yes. There's a lovely little. I think I have one on the door.
We can showcase it on our
Yes, sir.
on our cameras.
So this
There
cute
it is.
little keychain is something that we incorporated this year.
Yep.
This sort of highlights or marks to the server, that,
Sure.
hey, I'm the designated driver. So that's how they know to provide the
Absolutely.
non-alcoholic beverages to you.
And how many restaurants or establishments do you have now listed as
Well
well?
over 100 this year, which is surprising,
Wow.
because everybody has, some restaurants has really suffered through this whole
Sure.
period. financially. So we were very delighted when we had, received, overwhelming response from
Absolutely.
From those restaurants and bars
That's
to come
great.
on board. So.
Now, does that program run throughout the year, or is that strictly only a December kind of initiative?
Well, the designated driver and the Purple Ribbon Pledge is just from December 1st until January 1st. And then the Purple Ribbon bus is actually from just for New Year's Eve.
Just for New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Do you ever see that program, the Pledge program, the DD program, growing into a 12-month initiative?
That's a very good question. I know a lot of the restaurants, as well as the bars as well, they try to encourage, and they also offer, to their customers free non-alcoholic beverages throughout the year. But it's just that this time of the year we sort of focus on it. So yeah, there are some establishments that really does that. And as for the Purple Ribbon bus, year after year, we always get the call at the end of the year like, hey, that was so wonderful. Could you guys think about putting it on, throughout the year? And it's very costly. It's very costly to do that. We would love to be able to be in a position to do that someday, Ray. And so if there's any corporate donors out there who want to take it on, we would be happy to, right, Julie?
There's no shame in this game. You're welcome to tell them, call them right out. Say, come on, sponsor us on board.
Yeah. But you know what? I can't take away from. There's a lot of taxes that has been also taken people home who've had a little bit too much to drink over the years, and they do that around the clock. And there's a number of them that do that for free of charge.
So when we start talking about the costs of the operation on those buses for this campaign on New Year's Eve, where does the funds go towards making that happen? Is it to rent the buses, to pay the taxi drivers?
To rent the buses, for all of the media, advertising of it, all the little keychains, all the roadsides, stuff that you see on the roads, the adverts that go out. That's where it all goes back to. It doesn't, not a penny stays at the National Drug Council or the RCIPS or anywhere else for that matter.
Sure. And how many buses does that actually incorporate then? You just got to work out what it would cost then for a year for sponsors to come on board to make it.
This year, because of the whole social distancing and to try and cut down on the wait time for the buses, the team got together and said, let's try see if we could push and get some support to increase the buses to 15. So we've managed to, again, thanks to those sponsors, we've managed to go from 10 buses to 15. So this is the first time in the history of the entire campaign that we were able to offer 15 buses.
Wow. Yeah. And from the humble beginnings, how many buses did you have in the start?
In the start, I think we started at about 8, Ray.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we gradually climb, to where it is today.
And it's covering all the districts, right?
Yes, sir.
Impressive.
So we can talk about the routes and how it all works later on. Yeah,
it's logistical. I mean, it's a logistical planning nightmare, to say the least. Just because you're talking about a night of the year when this bus is servicing not the most, level-headed of characters on New Year's Eve, right? It's people who have been out the whole night, and the logistics of managing that and social distancing and masks and hygiene and all districts and that stuff. So there's a lot that has to go into it. So we'll jump into all that in just a moment. Back with more talk today, right after our 12:30 p.m. commercial break.
The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by K-Man Medical Supplies, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner. K-Man Medical Supplies is located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center. Telephone 949-6211.
Fusion.
Monday to Thursday.
10 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Fridays. Radio K-Man. Biggest variety in the morning. Biggest variety.
Fusion.
Following the 10 a.m. news headline. Biggest variety in the morning. This New Year's Eve, come out to South Coast Bar and Grill in Breakers for Breakers Under the Stars. Kick out the old year and bring in the new year with an all all-inclusive 3-course dinner with Prosecco for $75. General admission for $25. And with all-inclusive Prosecco, only $50. Music by Impulse Band, Rex, Lammy, and your favorite DJs. Come out, dine and dance the new year in with style at the South Coast Bar and Grill in Breakers this all-year night. Tickets on sale now at South Coast Bar and Grill, Mango Trees Outside Bar, and Funky Tanks.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and pleased to have in studio from the National Drug Council, Mr. Simon Miller, and from the RCIPS, Ms. Jody Empowery, here discussing the free bus service that's put on by the three organizations behind the, is it Arrive Alive?
Yes,
Was that the
345,
Arrive Alive 345?
Yes, sir.
Campaign to ensure that everyone gets home safe after their New Year's Eve festivities. Turning to the more serious side of this conversation and looking at some historical data behind our roads on New Year's Eve and in general, Ms. Jodianne, can you walk us through some of these stats and figures from our incidents on our roadways?
Well, so I mean, this year we haven't been seeing very good cooperation, unfortunately. So far this month already, we've had over 30 people been arrested for DUI for the month of December. And so, we definitely will implore that people take advantage of the Purple Ribbon Bus tomorrow night. It's already tomorrow
there.
night.
Yeah. The big yes. Already,
please do take advantage of the bus. The routes. I mean, Simon is gonna go into the routes, but they're pretty much covered everywhere. So you will, you might have to walk home if you live in an off road, but they cover most of the main roads or all of the main roads, and so you'll definitely be covered in all your communities. And I definitely do encourage people to use the Purple Ribbon buses tomorrow night. Collisions have also increased in the month of December compared to last year, where for that month it was we recorded over 20 with the same operation that we have going this year, and it's already over 30. So last year on New Year's Eve we recorded no DUIs. And so we want to make sure that we continue that trend tomorrow night.
Sure. What do you think has driven that sharp? That's a pretty big increase from over 20 to over 30. Is it just like people like letting loose after being locked in their homes?
It's several things. That we have every year an increase of more vehicles on the road.
Sure.
Every year we have new drivers on the road, different things. So it's a combination of different things, but at the same time, we all have the one main goal, which is to arrive alive every day, not just on New Year's Eve. So please do make sure that you do the right thing. Sure. You don't drink and drive. Get a designated driver. If not, utilize the Purple Ribbon Bus or the myriad of different public transport systems that are out there for us to use now. So,
you mentioned that the collisions are also up for December.
Yes, I don't have the correct numbers, but I definitely know that we've had, and it's not necessarily serious collisions. A lot of the time they're minor bumper to bumper things. Some of the times it's due to inattention, but a lot of the DUIs that were recorded were also as a result of collisions.
Collisions that had occurred.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the. Okay, so now we know where we're at for December 30th.
Yes.
And the goal is for no recorded incidents on December 31st.
Yes. So we recorded 2 DUIs on the 1st of January this year. But on New Year's Eve last year, there were no recorded DUIs. And 2 is pretty much a small number, especially for such a festive time, but we also want to see 0 on the 1st of January as well. So
Sure, that's the goal.
yeah.
As you know, this you may not have all this data with you now, but as far as like the demographics or the ages of the individuals who've been involved in these, do you have some rough idea as far as the age brackets that they would fall into?
To be honest, drinking doesn't usually carry a age, stigma or whatever the case may be. Unfortunately, everybody indulges every now and then. But as far as the serious collisions are, it's usually a combination of speeding, drinking, and just general inexperience on the roadways. And it's usually, unfortunately, our younger drivers.
They're the ones that drive the fast ones.
Yeah.
A little young, fast and the furious, right?
Unfortunately. It's very, very sad because on a small island like this, everybody who lives here has lost someone to the roads. And so, that being said, we all know what it's like to be on the hurting end, and I don't think that anybody wants to put their parents through that. So let's try to be responsible.
And as far as our sister islands go, with regards to those numbers, were any of those numbers recorded in the sister islands? I
didn't check that specifically, but the sister islands are still operating in the same holiday operations that we do here in Grand Cayman, as well as the Purple Ribbon bus, as Simon will go through, will also be in Cameron-Brac tomorrow night. So yeah,
that's great. And as far as the cooperation initiative between the RCIPS, Hurley's Media, and the NDC, where was the RCIPS's role within the organization of everything for this year's Purple Ribbon campaign?
So as Simon was explaining earlier, the NDC has the Purple Ribbon bus, and then Hurley's Media has the Purple Ribbon pledge. And what we do is we have a holiday safety campaign that incorporates both commercial and residential safety as well as road safety. And road safety is one of the bigger things that we focus on because of the time of year that it is. And so what we've done is combined our efforts where we as the RCIPS would provide information in regards to statistics and what's happening on the roadway, and we would support the NDC and Hurley's Media whenever we make media appearances and so on, as well as some other administrative things.
Taking out some of the burden of those admin duties from Simon. Freeing him up for...
Ray, I'm going to say Jody is being very polite with regards to those other things that RCIPS bring to the team, I tell you.
So tell us the truth now.
Without the truth is, without those guys, let me tell you, we wouldn't be sitting around this table, Ray. It would be very, very difficult. They were on board from the beginning, from the beginning, because of the service that they offer to the country on a whole. So it was naturally for them to be on board. So,
of course.
Yeah.
So,
Jody,
humble.
on behalf of the National Drug Council, we thank you, madam.
We thank you as well, Simon.
Just a few minutes to go until our next commercial break. So we'll throw back to Simon here. Simon, walk us through the routes that you're going to be running for tomorrow night.
All right, so just real quickly here on Grand Cayman, the service will begin at 9 p.m. and conclude around 4 a.m. So there's 15 buses running strategic routes, Ray. So the whole idea is no matter where you are on the country, or in the country rather, you should see a bus with a purple flashing light and some decals saying ride free.
Purple lights.
Purple lights, yep. Thanks to the RCIPS. Now that is something you could not put a purple light on your vehicle without the permission of the RCIPS. So you see, it's maybe a simple thing, but a very important thing.
Who actually went out and bought the lights?
Thanks to the sponsors, we bought the lights.
That was the shopping spree, right? Who had to go out and say, I want the flash ones.
So it's all just so, because there's a lot of traffic on the road. Taxis will also be on the road, transporting people as well. So we just wanted these buses to stand out, not necessarily to take away from the revenue of those taxi services, but, we wanted to highlight that, hey, here's the Purple Ribbon bus that we've been talking about. Thanks to these sponsors, it's free, get on board, or take a taxi. Either way, just get home safe.
Sure.
Yeah. So there's 15 buses. We have a bus leaving from Morgan's Harbor, bus leaving from Public Beach, bus leaving from Cayman Falls, bus leaving from Coral Beach, bus leaving from Georgetown Public Library, Cayman Bay, Kimpton, as well as Grand Harbor, Northside Civic Center, and Rum Point and Kaibo. Yeah. So
Okay.
those buses, as I said, run strategic routes, right? And they just go back and forth all night from 9 p.m. until 4 a.m., right? So just
Okay.
go back and forth, just picking up people. So no matter where you are on the route, you see a bus with a purple flashing light, flag it down, get on board, and it take you to the destination.
So if you're in Northside and you want to go out to 7 Mile Beach tomorrow night, what is your plan?
Excellent question. So there's two terminals, right? There's a terminal at Cayman Bay and there's a terminal at Grand Harbor. So you either take the eastern buses to Grand Harbor, jump on the terminal bus, which will take you then to the western buses in Grand Harbor, and then you can ride to wherever you need to go.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, makes sense.
So
Okay.
that's how it works.
And then as
Yeah.
far as in Cayman Brac?
In Cayman Brac, there's 4 buses running from 9 p.m. until 2 a.m. over on the Sister Islands. And they also just run strategic routes throughout the whole island.
And where are their routes?
They're looking, well,
Or
you
where
know,
was
they
there?
well,
Is it just basically just going around in circles?
yeah, pretty much. I mean, over the bluff, of course.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Because, I mean, the road up there is not as,
No,
complex
it's-
as down here. So,
of course.
Yeah.
There's,
But everything will be covered
Okay.
up there as well.
Okay. I think I'm pretty. Now, as far as safety for waiting at the bus shelters or the bus terminals, if it's a group of girls that are going out and they want to make sure that they're safe when they're waiting for the next connector bus,
That's
what
why we
is-
have our
what is their
RCIPS.
reassurance that this is actually the safest route to get home?
Yeah.
You know, I always said it's very important for you to plan your night, plan it properly. And so one of the things that we encourage people to do, especially when they're waiting for the bus, is to wait at official bus stops. Those are well-lit areas, or any other very well-lit areas, specifically places where there's cameras if possible. Also, we encourage that if you're going out on New Year's Eve, go with your friends. Don't be on your own, because then you'll become more vulnerable to being a target of crime if you're on your own in a dark, secluded area. We definitely don't encourage anyone to use any back roads or any shortcuts or that kind of stuff at night at any time of the year. But just, try to be cognizant of your surroundings as well. Ensure that you have 911 capability on your phone from outside the lock screen, so that in the event you can get to help quickly as possible. So yeah, those are, and if you have any other concerns, you can look at our website. We have a crime prevention page. We have tips on crime prevention for when you're out drinking or when you're walking alone, or that kind of thing on our website. So
Thank you.
yeah.
On that note, let's go to our next commercial break. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up our conversation with the Arrive Alive 345 campaign team. Back with more talk today right after this.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a not-for-profit, member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. We have an all-in expense ratio of less than 1%, over 20,000 members, and $490 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s, and today we are still strong, secure, and are here for our employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or require further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
Stay tuned.
Don't forget to tune in Monday through Friday for Radio Cayman's local evening sports report during the 6 p.m. news hour.
Taking a look at Radio Cayman's local sports, I'm Dion Anglin.
It is proudly brought to you by King Sports Center, providing your fitness, recreation, and relaxation needs.
The Ministry of Health and Public Health would like to wish the residents of the Cayman Islands a joyous and safe holiday season. We know getting together with our families and friends is part of the holidays we all look forward to as we gather to celebrate. Remember, continue to practice proper hygiene measures to protect you and your loved ones from COVID-19. In the spirit of giving, help us continue to protect the elderly and vulnerable in our community. Happy holidays, Cayman. It is still recommended that you wear a mask, wash your hands, or sanitize regularly, as well as keep a 3 to 6 feet distance from people outside of your household. To learn more, visit www.explore/coronavirus.
Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now?
Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you are just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and just wrapping up our segment here with the National Drug Council and the RCIPS in regards to the Arrive Alive 345 campaign. Joining me in the studio is Mr. Simon Miller from the National Drug Council, along with Ms. Jody Ann Powery from the RCIPS. In case you have missed the first part of this segment, essentially, we've been looking at the various initiatives by the NDC, the RCIPS, and Hurley's Media as part of the Arrive Alive 345 campaign, which have included the Purple Ribbon Pledge campaign, the Keychain initiative, which is done in partnership with the local restaurants and establishments.
Designated driver program.
Designated driver campaign. Does it have a name besides Designated Driver campaign?
No, just designated driver program
Okay.
is what we've referred to it over the years.
So I shouldn't call it the Keychain program.
Yeah.
I won't call it the Keychain program. But you do get a nice keychain if you are the designated driver,
Yeah,
right?
it's very, very
So
cute.
that is the,
yes,
it is
they're
cute.
very proud of it. Yes.
And there's still time. I mean, if you're out just, and you're enjoying a meal at one of our fine, restaurants or even one of the bars, just ask them if they're a part of the designated driver program, and just tell them you would like to be a designated driver for a group, and
they give you the keychain,
and they give you the keychain. Yep.
And that's good at any restaurant. That's part of
Yes,
the
yes,
initiative.
And like, as I said earlier, for those listeners who just tuning in, it's well over 100 restaurants. The list you can find on Hurley's Media website or the National Drug Council website, which is ndc.ky.
Easy enough.
Yeah.
And then just to recap now with the highlight of today's show, that is the New Year's Eve campaign to get everyone home alive tomorrow night, and the NDC, along with the RCIPS and Hurley's Media, along with all of the sponsors that have come on board to support your initiative, are organizing the 15 buses operating here in Grand Cayman, along with the 4 buses over in Cayman Brac. Can you walk our listeners through again the pivotal logistics information for
Sure.
the buses
So
tonight?
the buses here in Grand Cayman will start operating at 9 p.m. and conclude around 4 a.m. So we have 15 buses running strategic routes throughout that time period. And the whole idea is no matter where you are on the island, you should see that bus within 15 to 20 minutes with a purple flashing light, with a lot of decals on the side saying ride free, a lot of sponsorship displayed on the side. So you just flag down one of those buses, get on board, and it'll take you to the destination of your choice. Yeah.
And then as far as you mentioned 2 terminal spots, Camana Bay and
Grand Harbor.
Grand Harbor.
So if you're coming in from the Eastern District, you will come to Grand Harbor and you'll ride the terminal bus over to the Western District to Camana Bay.
Okay.
And then you'll take the Western buses from there.
And then as far as you mentioned strategic routes that all the buses are going to be running.
Yes.
Can you walk us through those routes again?
Sure.
Just so that our listeners are...
All right. So we have a bus leaving from Morgan's Harbor, bus leaving from Public Beach, bus leaving from Cayman Falls, bus leaves from Coral Beach, bus leaves from Georgetown Public Library. There's a bus leaving from Cayman Bay. There's a bus leaving from Kempton, bus leaving from Grand Harbor, bus leaving from Northside Civic Center, and one leaving from Kaibo Rum Point.
Okay, and then as far as the drop off for the buses are not going to drop anyone off onto side roads, but are going to stay onto the major arterial.
To the major arterial roads, yes, that's correct. That's correct.
And then as far as because we should cover all the safety elements, but there's always the concern on safety, especially this time of year, or especially this year period, with regards to social distancing and masks on the bus. What are those requirements?
So we have worked with the Public Health Department. I want to thank their contribution. They made sure that we have the correct solution that is going to be that the buses will be wiped down after every transporting a group. There are going to be masks, so if anybody's uncomfortable and want to wear a mask, there'll be masks on board as well. There's water, which is given to us by Foster's, so we want to thank Mr. Woody and his team for every year making sure that we have some hydration on board. It's kind of free of charge again.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. And just on a whole, I want to just thank our sponsors again, Ray.
Please,
Jake Scott's, Brit K, Island Electronics, Kirk Motors, Napa, Peskill, Blackbeards, the Security Center, Davenport, Doctors Hospital, CIBC First Caribbean, National Roads Authority, DART, Flex, CUC, Rubis, Starbucks, CEL Beauty, and of course Foster's. And we've just had Hurley's come on board as well. Foster's and Hurley's have allowed us to put up our beautiful posters to all of their customers that are coming through and shopping, just to get the message out there. Sure. So we want to thank those two stores for coming on board as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, if you don't mind, Ms. Jodianne, if you could walk our listeners through the general safety elements, and appreciate that they can always find these on your website as well.
Absolutely.
But if you don't mind.
No, not a problem. We just want to encourage everyone, first of all, not to drink and drive tomorrow, and to please use buses. If you are utilizing the bus services, make sure that the places that you're standing waiting on the buses is safe from a road safety perspective as well as a personal safety perspective. And so make sure that you're standing in a well-lit area where the buses can see you and you can see your surroundings. Ensure that you have 911 on hand in the event of an emergency. Please do travel in groups. Go out with your friends. Don't be isolated and on your own if possible. And also try your very best to use the official bus stops. They have seats and stuff like that. I know that it's probably like a 10 to 20 minute wait on the buses, so you might want to, especially if you're wearing heels, ladies, use the bus stop so you can sit down and wait on the bus. You don't want to stand up for 20 minutes in your heels out there. So
we don't have that problem. Nowhere in my train of thought was I thinking about heels in this conversation.
That's why we have the great Jodianne here.
Thank you for bringing that. I did never cross my mind that the heels would be an uncomfortable
absolutely
thing.
And I want to also encourage everyone to visit our social media pages, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We have other safety tips as well on there, PSAs from some of our officers. Just encouraging people to stay safe over the holidays. And also, while you're on social media, if you're utilizing the bus services, please do take a picture and hashtag ArrivalLive345 so that we can keep a record and see the different people who have enjoyed the services.
Before or after the night? Do you want that selfie at like 3 o'clock in the morning as they're heading home?
I mean, before, you can do a before and after so we can see how you started and how you finished, you know?
We should have a competition one year where we encourage people, to take group photos that those people are using the buses and do some sort of raffling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it'd be a great
we
one
do that.
because
next year.
Next year.
Yeah, next year. Because we didn't plan for that this year. Next year for sure. That's a good idea, Simon.
It's a great idea because that's what will actually drive the continued usage and encourage others. It's when you start seeing that other peer groups in my age bracket did this, it becomes the more cool thing to do. Whereas unfortunately, some will say, no, I can still handle myself, and they're the ones that unfortunately create the bigger problems, right?
And I'm glad that you brought that up, Ray. You know, over the years, well, I make it my ritual every year to ride the buses to make sure everything is working properly. So I'll park my car, like, for example, Easton, and just ride the bus all the way to West Bay, you know, and then get back to Easton, get in my car, and then go enjoy my time with my family. But the demographics of people, I mean, just a wide spectrum, you know, everybody, you know, it's really amazing. You have some of the most wonderful conversations as the night go on as well too.
Sure.
You know, so.
I'm sure, no doubt, the conversation becomes a little more elaborate and
more colorful
as the night goes on. No doubt. 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the morning. That conversation is going to change a few times.
But that's another show, Ray. That's another show.
Now, as far as we only have 2 minutes left, with regards to social distancing, can you remind our listeners, how are the social distancing elements happening on buses, or are they this year?
I think when we first started, but I could be corrected, I know that there were social distancing being practiced.
That's right, yes.
But we were already in the process of planning,
Sure.
So we just maintained sort of the 15 buses.
The 15 buses.
But
okay.
As far as I understand, I think that we're not, you know, thankfully, because of all the
it's
efforts of the, you know, everybody collectively in the Cayman Islands, we were able
correct.
to keep our numbers low, so we're able to enjoy ourselves in a little bit more close proximity. So
absolutely.
Yeah, but we will still be wiping down the buses, still have masks on board. You know, once again, thanks, you know, to you know, our sponsors for providing all those things.
You know, you raised a great point there, for the last many other jurisdictions, neighboring ones as well, aren't able to celebrate New Year's Eve. They're not able to actually do the family gatherings, whether the outings at establishments and bars and restaurants. So you raise a great point there. Collectively, because of the way our community actually addressed the 2020 overall, it's the reason why we actually get this opportunity to actually be able to go and do this. And thanks to the government, and thanks for the community at large who's listening right now. And you're the reason why we can actually enjoy New Year's Eve, and you guys are still keeping busy.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely right. And while we're on the topic, I do yesterday GIS and ourselves, we put out a press release just reminding people, vendors especially, that the maximum cap for persons at restaurants, hotels, events is 500. And that is the absolute limit. So if you need to have a counter to make sure that you are within the regulations, please do. And for those patrons who will be attending these establishments, please do respect the regulation as well, especially the to the staff and the owners and proprietors who are trying to enforce the regulations. And let's just have a good time.
Absolutely. And hopefully all the establishments out there do jump on board and ensure that they don't have to suffer any kind of enforcement issues on New Year's Eve as a result of
absolutely
a capacity
that would
issue.
Be a very, very expensive inconvenience.
Yeah, we've all seen that. We're not taking the quarantine issues or the numbers issues.
It's a serious issue,
go.
so it's health and safety risk. So we definitely need to pay very special attention to it.
Thank you so much for that. If you don't mind, Simon, again, the website information, Thanks, Jamel.
The
man himself here. For all the listeners, we had our next guest kind of just jump up to the glass and say hi to everybody.
Mr. James Miles, well known, well respected.
Yes,
sir. We do have to go to our 1 p.m. Headline news. If you don't mind, just provide our listeners again with the website information for the NDC and the RCIPS for where they can find information on this information, on the bus service.
So it's the ndc.ky, www.ndc.ky, and then it's the Hurley's Media.
I think it's
.com.
.ky as well.
Okay.
And we can be found on rcips.ky.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for taking time to come in. I do all the best with your New Year's resolutions.
Thank you very much, Ray.
And getting through the next 2 days.
Absolutely.
Because that's a project in itself for you all.
It is. It absolutely is.
Thank you so much, and all the best for 2021 when it arrives.
Sure. Thanks for having us, Ray.
On that note, we're going to go to our 1 p.m. headline news. When we come back, we'll be sitting now with Mr. James Miles himself, the legend, along with his team discussing the brand new culinary conference. Back with more talk today, right after this.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have, on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Royal Cayman Islands Police Service reminds the public to ensure that their holiday plans reflect current COVID-19 regulations. No more than 500 people may attend public gatherings, including hotels, restaurants, nightclubs, bars, special events, and other related businesses and events. Organizers and proprietors are encouraged to use a counting device to ensure they remain within the confines of the regulations. In international news, the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine has been approved for use in the UK, with the first doses due to be given on Monday amid rising coronavirus cases. The UK has ordered 100 million doses, enough to vaccinate 50 million people. This could cover the entire population when combined with the full order of the Pfizer-BioNTech jab. A series of powerful aftershocks have rocked central Croatia following a magnitude 6.4 earthquake on Tuesday. The new 4.8 and 4.7 magnitude tremors struck on Wednesday, causing further damage to buildings. At least 7 people are known to have died in Tuesday's quake. A landslide in a Norwegian village has injured 10 people, left 21 unaccounted for, and buried houses under what looks like a huge slick of mud in a gully. About 500 people have been evacuated from a village which lies some 15 miles northeast of the capital, Oslo. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Your voice, your choice, your radio.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs, with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
Radio Cayman's Year in Review. It was a year of natural disasters for the country, which faced earthquakes, landfill fires, storms, and the global COVID-19 pandemic. Catch an in-depth look back at these stories and much more during Radio Cayman's Year in Review. Airing January 1st at 6 and 10 p.m.
Radio Cayman's 2020 Year in Review is proudly brought to you by CUC. You've got the power. Nathan General Maintenance and Construction. You break it, they fix it. Call the General at 917-7586. Rotary Central. Together we inspire. Savannah Pharmacy. Always just around the corner in Countryside Shopping Village. And Train with Dre. Get your meals right and lose weight today. No excuses, no gimmicks.
This is how we wake you up in the morning. Praise time on Radio Cayman.
Are you ready? Here we go. Set. I feel like running, skip it, run it. Feel like skip it.
Praise time.
Jesus in the morning. I will. So send me, Lord. I will go.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And very pleased to have, I've no doubt this next segment is going to be a very comical one. But we're very pleased to have in studio Mr. James Miles, Miss Shakina Bush, and Miss Georgianne Rankin, and soon joining us, Chef Rachtry, here to discuss the new culinary conference. Welcome to Talk Today, everyone.
Thank you for having us.
So we had a little debate going here. Is there 2 days left in the year or 1 day left in the year?
Two.
Yeah.
2?
Yeah.
Are you going with 2 or 1?
2.
All right. Someone else. We had a little debate going with Miss Susan Watson. Who said
today's 1 day. Today's 1 day and tomorrow's is another. That's 2 days. You got to count it with 24 hours.
Check on your fingers.
Yeah, 30 and 31.
Yeah.
I'm just teasing. It wasn't Miss Susan. It is the almost the end of 2020. It's been a wild year.
Yep.
No stranger to Talk Today. But just let's have a quick powwow about what was 2020 like for you personally? Like as far as outside of like the obvious of the disaster that it was, did you come out of 2020 with any kind of newfound perspective? Anything?
Oh yeah,
different.
I looked at 2020 in a different view from probably most people. They looked on the dark side and all the mishaps. I looked at the opportunity was to grow. 2020 was a wonderful year for growth for me. I read a lot. I became spiritually stronger. I became mentally stronger. I think it provided us an opportunity to grow and have a real perspective on what is important. And I think once you get that right, you can grow from there.
Sure.
It got me a lot closer to God. It got me pointing other people to God, because that's really what we're here to do. And this is just another thing. Even the culinary program, all of this comes from God. All the raw materials come from Him. Nothing grows unless He makes it happen. And everything kind of ties right in. And 2020 brought a lot more clarity. And I think people ought to try to embrace that new view on life.
As far as the books that you read, were they religious-based books, or were there
some were leadership books? I'm heavy into leadership. I got a lot of time to sit and read.
Okay.
Quarantine was a real incubator for me. It wasn't quarantined or isolation for me. I got into books. I got into reading. I got to examine different stuff. The internet was also there, so I can even look at other.
Definitely there.
So I could look into different perspectives on even the books that I read. It was wonderful for me.
Any particular leader, author that stands out in your mind?
John Maxwell. I read a lot of John Maxwell. I had a book called Spike from René Curros as well. So I read him, and I read Move Your Bus by Ron Clark.
Absolutely. I heard him speak, actually. We heard him speak, actually. At the same conference, yeah.
And I got the book from there. So I just reread and reread it.
Were you the one that won the raffle in the book?
Yeah. Yeah, the one
who
jumped off first.
Yeah, he was a great speaker, though.
Yeah, and we need that kind of energy in the world. Positive energy to invigorate and to spawn creativity. And I think that kind of lent to this as well. When the ministry came up with the idea that they needed to extend the Christmas period, they reached out to the Youth Services Unit and the Sports Department about filling this 2 weeks extension. So this is what we came up with. Culinary conference, culinary camps is kind of filling up what we would normally do for summer. But the National Youth Culinary Program will be running it because the Youth Services Unit will be doing Proud of Them at the same time.
Sure.
So I had to rely on other youth service providers to do it. Ms. Shakina Bush here will be hosting the conference. So
don't worry, we'll get to you in just a moment.
Yeah.
You have a lot to say. I know you do. Don't worry.
So I can start to dish up all the talking because I don't want to hog up the mic too much.
No, we have a whole hour. Don't worry. There's plenty of time for...
You with this Chef Ratrick up, yo? You can need another one.
Another hour? So with regards to that then, with everything you've read, what are you taking into 2021? Any New Year's resolutions?
No.
Okay.
No, it is something you constantly be evolving, growing. So you don't even wait till January 1st for that. You do it from now every day. If you're not growing, you're dying. So
that's profound. All right.
So I can grow, and I can try to grow everybody around me.
Mr. Jamal, the reason why you're part of the Youth Services Unit, there as it is. So, ladies, you've had plenty of time to think about what it is you want to say to that question, because it's up to you next now. Ms. Shakina, coming out of 2020 Any perspective coming out of 2020?
I think I second what James said. Definitely a time for growth. I spent a lot of time looking at myself. We got so caught up in the day-to-day of what we want. And I think even the lockdown, it gave us a time to be creative, gave us time to think of our needs, that extra family time. And even for me, it was good because I got to reach out to a lot of those students that, they were struggling with it, and they reached out to me. And I found creative ways. I started TikTok. It was funny. I have my 8-year-old children in my class. I saw you, Miss Bush, pulling the fish out of the pool. But I got real creative. But it was a time to kind of, help people through a tough time. And it brought out a sense of creativity from me, and it got other young people motivated to, come out of that kind of rut that they were in and become creative themselves. Self-reflection. I don't think a lot of us self-reflect enough. You don't ever know where you're going unless you understand where you've been. So, looking at what I was able to accomplish, what I didn't accomplish, and kind of adjust, my sights and ensure that I could continue to get back on path. Because the reality of it is we get so caught up on our day-to-day lives that we do get sidetracked. We do put things off. So it was a good time for me to be able to help motivate other people as well as motivate myself to continue to push myself forward.
And as far as 2021 New Year's resolutions?
Like Jamo said, man, I'm continuously growing. I don't believe in stopping. I don't believe in just coming up with something because it's a new year. I've always had my goals, and I'm continuing to push forward each day. So.
Alrighty. Yeah. And Ms. Rojan?
Oh, wow.
So same to you, 2020 perspective?
It's been a year, or like half of the year, but there's no changes. It's like Jamo said, I got closer to God. I got to read my Bible more. I love singing. You pass my house and pass my room, I'm singing. So I can't complain. And it's just like I tell everybody, if we complain, we could be so ungrateful, because some countries can't come near Cayman when it comes to this COVID, whatever it called, because I even hate saying the name.
I agree with you on that. Yes, absolutely.
But it's been okay. I learned me more during that time than what I ever did. I didn't know me before, but I tell you the truth, I know who I am now. Mm-hmm. I know who I am. And that's what I'm taking into 2021.
Sure. So I have two more questions for you then. One is, any New Year's resolutions going to 2021?
No.
Just keep on growing.
Have to keep on growing.
All right. Second question is, because I was reminding us now, anytime anybody admits that they sing, I kind of ask them to sing while they're on air with me.
You're going to need another one.
So yesterday we actually had on Mr. Loxley Banks here talking with CI Retro. I don't know if you heard the show, but it was all about Christmas in Cayman. And there's two focus points that really stuck out. One was the music, and the second was the food. Now, we're going to cover the food in the show. But Miss Georgianne, any treat for our listeners?
Have yourself a merry little Christmas and a happy New Year.
Perfect time to go to a commercial break on that. Thank you so much for indulging our listeners. On that note, we're going to go to our 1:15 commercial break. We come back, we'll be hearing more about the culinary conference.
Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic. Your life connected.
The holidays wouldn't be the same without a little boom from Fireworks Limited. Cayman's biggest firework discount megastore is now open behind Massive Equipment in Industrial Park. Fireworks Limited has a megastore full of new fireworks and offers huge volume discounts. Stock up early and save big with free gifts with every purchase and the biggest variety of products on island. Fireworks Limited is behind Massive at Industrial Park with tons of parking.
Open until 6 p.m. every night and 9 p.m. on December 24th, 29th, and 31st.
Williams Production presents Cayman's finest in concert in support of Loud Silent Voices, featuring the Williams Quartet, Darnell Celestine, Jamie Ebanks, Vashti and Angelique Hurlston, Omar Walters, Jaden Hanna, Rachel Latta, and others from across Cayman. Thursday, December 31st at 6:30 p.m. First Baptist Church, Crew Road. Admission, $15. Tickets available at Funky Tanks and Christian Enlightenment Center. Brought to you by the Office of the Premier, Ministry of Health, Environment, Culture and Housing, the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport, Burger King, Praise 87.9 FM, Hydes and Sons, Health City Cayman Islands, Cayman First, DMS Organization, and Radio Cayman.
Attention, Caymanians! The registration deadline for the 2021 elections has been extended until 20 January 2021. Caymanians turning 18 on or before the May 26 elections may register now. In order to vote in the 2021 elections, you must register by the 20th of January. For more information, visit elections.ky or the elections office at Baytown Office Suites opposite the Wharf Restaurant.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And we are joined today with the team from the Culinary Conference. Mr. Jamal Miles, Ms. Shakina Bush, Ms. Georgianne Smith, and Ms. Mahendra Brown. Welcome back to Talk Today, Mahendra.
Thank you so much.
So let's get a bit of an intro into, you briefly touched upon it, Jamal, earlier in the segment. How did the whole Culinary Conference come about?
Well, whenever the National Youth Culinary Team goes to represent Cayman Islands in Barbados, there's always a conference before the contest. So some of the young people that are still in the program have been exposed to these conferences. So since the ministry needed us to kind of fill this gap for the extended Christmas period, I said, why not us have our own culinary conference based on the same concept that we've been exposed to in Barbados. And we have a lot of chefs here that from different cultures that we could also share. So the conference would start out with knife skills done by Bradley, who is like one of the most prolific aspiring young chefs. And then there'll be an introduction on cost and choice of food by Chef Brian Rattray. He should be called cost of okay. Buying food, choosing food. And then we'll have a culture splash of Sri Lanka by Chef Tashara from Grandwell House. And we'll round out the first day with plated dessert techniques with Chef Jessica Moore, who's a local chef from Taste This Life. And she will be doing a plated dessert using cassava cake and cassava cake ice cream. So it's a local spin on a plated dessert, and she should be sharing techniques, and then all the people in the conference will do whatever she's demoed. So that's pretty cool.
And when is the conference actually running?
It's Monday the 11th and Tuesday the 12th of January. On Tuesday it will be an all-day workshop for the basic food handler certification. So they get a splash of demonstrations on the first day, and then on the second day, they actually sit a certification course.
So these 4 classes will take place on the first day, on the 11th.
Right.
And then what is involved in the certification course?
It's something that's offered through the Department of Environmental Health. It is for all food handlers in the country.
Hygiene.
Right, on basic hygiene for any food handler in the Cayman Islands. So conference delegates would leave with the possibility of being certified to handle food in any restaurant anywhere in the Cayman Islands.
Wow. Now, typically, would they have to pay for that?
Yes, $15, but it's included in the cost of the conference. The conference costs $100. For those who are age 11 to 17 that would want to continue into camp, that $100 covers you for those 4 days. For those that just want to do the conference, it is still $100 to cover the conference.
Okay, so that's the 11th and 12th at Clifton
Hunter High School.
And then in Georgetown? Or in
John Gray is on Wednesday and Thursday, the 13th and 14th. is where we would have an advanced camp in one classroom and a learn to cook camp in the next classroom. And advanced camp will be run by Chef Rattray, and learn to cook camp will be run by Chef Georgia.
And then, so is there a reason why you're going with a different format for the two different schools?
Well, normally during the summer, we would have an advanced camp and a learn to cook camp.
Okay.
So we're just giving them a feel for that in this short time span.
Sure. Is the goal then to have the students do both of these camps?
Well, for the more advanced students, they'll be in the advanced camp. That's limited to 20 campers, and then the learn to cook is limited to 20 as well, based on the space at John Gray Labs.
Okay. Now you cop here. All right.
And the conference limit is 100. We all fit in the auditorium at Clifton Hunter.
Okay. And then as far as the current registrations, how many do you have currently signed
Not enough. That's why we're here.
You came to the right place, though.
Yeah. The ministry has set up a SurveyMonkey registration link for us. And when we checked it last evening, it was like 3 people for this camp and 4 people for the conference. And I'm like, that's not a lot. I think we need to go out and start to promote it and to get restaurants that might hear that their staff might need to be retooled, because every 3 years you're supposed to get a refresher. So if your staff is in that position, you can come join us for the conference. If you can only spare them for that one day for the certification, it'll cost you $35. And it covers meals and the exam itself.
As far as, so this is actually open to adults as well?
Yes, it's for anyone age 11 and up.
Okay.
The conference.
Okay, I'm all caught up here now. And then as far as Shakina, let's bring you to this conversation. What is your role with regards to the conference?
Well, I'll be hosting it. I've had the privilege of watching quite a large number of our young people, looking at Mo on my left-hand side here, come through the system. I've been blessed with being selected as one of the judges.
At the cooking contest.
Yeah, the cooking contest. So I've had the... Yeah, the doctor said to get in shape. Round is a shape. Listening to the doctor.
I'm pretty sure I heard you. I'm pretty sure.
I'm going to keep saying that, you know. Yeah.
You said you got a new lipstick. What was it now?
Yeah, Crazy Glue. It's a weight loss program. New weight loss program I'm on. Trying it out. Seems to be working pretty well.
Until you decide to become a judge at the conference?
Yeah, I mean... you asked us what we're doing into 2021. I mean,
you're living your best life.
I got nice and round in 2020, especially after this Christmas break. And, you know, I traded off some breadfruits over here with Midja to get some beef. And, well, we know how that goes.
We'll start that resolution after the 14th.
Yeah. No, but I'm excited. I think it's a great opportunity for our young people to come out and, you know, get familiar with the culinary field. I've gone out and spoken to quite a few young people, and you know, they weren't even aware that some of these things exist, and it's great to be able to see that excitement in their eyes. So I think I've become quite a familiar face with young people over the past few years, especially. So getting them to join on board or even being selected by them to do this is phenomenal. Their acceptance into their world, their field. Everyone kind of sees me through the sports lens. And,
I still do, yeah. You're still the football player,
I
right?
know, right? I just watch it now. You know, to get their buy-in and their approval in their field.
Sure.
It's great to know that I've kind of gone out of what everyone sees me doing typically. And you know, I'm in their world, and it's phenomenal to watch them grow and just shine. And they have great role models around them. They have great people to give them advice. And they're just constantly growing. So an environment like this is phenomenal to see our young people in, because you actually see the true level of creativity that they have within them. You know, you can put, you know, items on a table and they go, ah. You know, sometimes as a teacher, you see that aha moment in the classroom. But when you see that in the culinary field, it's a whole different kind of aha. And it leaves you as a judge or you as someone on the sidelines going, I wonder what that'll taste like. And when they serve it out, you know, you want to throw them in the car and say, you know, you're going to come cook for me for the next few weeks. Mm-hmm. So, but it's phenomenal. So I'm blessed. I feel honored to be able to host it. And I definitely look forward to what's to come.
The tasting.
Oh, yeah, especially that part. Yeah, especially that part.
Mahindra. I'm gonna get the Mahindra. I had so many more questions lined up, but you know what? I'll save these to the end of the segment.
Yes.
Mohindra.
Just to touch back on what Mr. James Miles was saying
Please.
about the whole structure and the idea of the conference and the camp. So I was privileged enough to get to go to Barbados to cook and represent Cayman along with Joshua McLean, Ayanna Davis, Eden, and Bradley McLaughlin. So we got exposed to the idea of a culinary conference. We got exposure to different cuisines like Greek cuisine. We got a really, really, really heavy exposure to the importance of hygiene in the kitchen, the importance of a communication in the kitchen. And just that experience alone, it pushed me and it kind of ignited a fire in me to do so much more. So with this conference, I honestly really believe that a lot of young people should come out to this conference. Even if you don't have a love for cooking, just the exposure enough would give you ideas to say, oh, I want to make a risotto at home. Oh, I want to do this and that at home. It ignites some creativity for the young people. And then for the camp, we had the ultimate idea to keep the exposure of culture to the young people, because in Cayman, it's a boiling pot of different cultures. You have some people who don't believe, but they are from Germany, from Jamaica, from all different cultures. So we're utilizing that idea to let them understand that we're going to teach you a little bit more about this culture and that culture. So for the advanced camp, we kind of pinpoint and focus more on that. So we have different chefs that come in. They do an hour demonstration. We have French cuisine, Caymanian cuisine, Jamaican cuisine, Indian cuisine, and it goes on and on.
Okay.
And for the Learn to Cook camp, they get the amazing...
And they have a mystery basket challenge at the end.
At the end of the competition.
Camp. So it's like a chop.
Yeah, it's like a
mystery
chop.
basket?
Yeah, so they don't know... chicken could be there, but they don't know what else could be there.
Yeah.
Oh, but they have to cook it.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
They have to cook it. So
I have the eating hat on, right? Like I'm not thinking the cooking hat. I'm thinking, like, all right, so
I'm
the
there
mystery basket of...
I'm there with you.
See, you're there. I'm connecting right now.
Yep,
It's Shakina here right now.
see?
You two cook. We will judge.
Swing by.
Yes, of course. And then for the Learn to Cook camp, they get the opportunity to get some knowledge and gain some knowledge from Miss Georgianne. She's an amazing person to gain knowledge from. You can easily ask her to cook anything and she'll give you an answer to it. So they get that wonderful opportunity. And they'll also be having a little miniature competition at the end just to kind of rival a little competition, spice it up a little bit at the ending. But I honestly believe this in both.
In both, okay.
So with the advanced camp, they'll have more like, as Mr. Jam said, like a chop. So they'll have a couple of rounds. Okay. It'll all be chicken, hopefully. You don't know what's going to come in that basket.
They don't know.
Don't know.
They just look at that crab's not running now.
Yeah, they look at I remember that practice.
I would put one like crab in the middle.
I remember that
sounds
practice.
Like a lot of fun, though, in all
it
fairness.
is.
It does sound
is,
like a lot of fun.
It is.
Yeah. So, Miss Georgianne, how do you feel about leading the Learn to Cook class?
Well, cooking is my passion. I love cooking. And now that I'm at age, or Jam will have me in this position, I don't have no other choice but to teach them how to cook now. So, but I love it, and they love it. The only thing they don't like with me, oh, Miss Georgianne, is it a cup or a teaspoon? I say, throw it in. You know, no measurements.
My mom is listening to this show right now. I know she is. And when I started learning to cook, this is the way she taught me. Oh, you just throw a pinch of this, and you just throw... I'm sitting there going, no, hold on. Oh, a pinch to me is not the same as a pinch to you.
I'm there with you. I got hit with a wooden spoon many times. That's not a pinch. It was my pinch.
But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed cooking very well. I enjoyed now teaching, the different kind of Cayman style, this Cayman style, that.
Sure.
It's enjoyable.
So are you going to be teaching other cultural styles of food as well as the Cayman cultural style to the Learn to Cook class?
I can if they ask me to. I could
it
cook
depends
anything.
on the stuff we have there.
Depends on what's in the mystery basket.
Yeah, but they could be doing one a very Latin one, arroz con pollo. A lot of the Learn to Cook camp could be doing like one pot meals.
Okay.
So they'll do like spaghetti and meat sauce, stuff that they can do quickly
Very
around the
simple.
house and help their parents out.
Sure.
So they don't have to come home all the time or purchase something on the road. They can actually say, okay,
Absolutely.
I see something in here, I can fix myself something. And when mom and dad come home, they're not gonna stress over the stove or anything. They can,
of course.
They can actually prepare something for their parents for a change.
Yeah. And so you said there's 20 and 20 in the advanced
Yes.
Learn to Cook class.
Right.
And so you're going to be doing like the simple meals for Learn to Cook.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Are they going to be doing some of the knife skills and the hygiene classes as well? Or how does that work with this?
They will do a hygiene class for the Learn to Cook.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that they get the safety aspect of a kitchen. The advanced would have already been there. They would have most likely been to the conference too, and probably certified in food handling. So they will get a more of the splash of cultures, so they can start to think outside of the box.
What about those listeners who would not have done the certification classes or hygiene classes previously, but they do know how to cook? They're the individuals that, like myself, who cook all the time, but have never actually done a formal class. Is that open to the advanced program, or are they?
Yeah,
open to
I mean,
the
if you've
beginner
been cooking for a while, I don't want to bore you with making spaghetti meatballs.
Yeah.
Sure.
I would want you to be challenged, and I would probably say, well, if you're not a beginner, go take on the challenge of the advance, and then see what you can do with the Mr. Basket round at the end. I think culinary provides so much opportunity for creativity that we shouldn't limit ourselves as human beings.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like cooking, this is good. Come and try.
Yeah.
No, yeah, absolutely right.
It is a survival skill because if Wendy's not gonna always be open.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's not.
Yeah, you can.
I have something for the parents before I forget.
Please.
When your children come to the camp and they want to come home and cook, trust them. Because I know they learn something from the camp.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trust them.
No,
you might want to watch them, but give them their lead.
Yes, you're right. We all have to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
We'll make our mistakes, but we'll all have to.
No, because I have some of the children say, "Oh, my mama, they don't like me around the stove and this and that," and But we teach them. That's why we start at the hygiene. You clean as you go. Just trust them.
It's a great line for
Yeah.
parents, and I love that. On that note, now let's go to our 1:30 commercial break. When we come back, we'll be discussing a bit more about some of the intricate parts of the class, from the knife skills, and the cost of choosing food was another good one. I like that topic. Back with more talk today, right after this.
Do you remember when 2020 was great?
I don't think it was
2020 vision, not the year.
right.
Make 2020 great again with Optical Outlook, the new West Bay store now open. With their designer frames and sunglasses, eye health has never looked so good. Call 746-2020 and book your eye exam today at Caymanian Village and now at Jake Scott Plaza in West Bay, offering premier eye care in Cayman for over 30 years. Come see the difference with Optical Outlook.
Do you have a passion for cake decorating or doing vegetable carvings? Register now to UCCI's Continuing Education Food Courses. In 10 weeks, students will learn how to bake and acquire various techniques in icing decoration or to turn fruits and vegetables into beautiful garnishes and bouquets. Classes start on January 18th.
Register now on our website at connect.ucci.edu.ky/register/short courses.
Or visit us from January 6th to the 12th for face-to-face registration.
Radio Cayman's Year in Review. It was a year of natural disasters for the country, which faced earthquakes, landfill fires, storms, and the global COVID-19 pandemic. Catch an in-depth look back at these stories and much more during Radio Cayman's Year in Review. Airing January 1st at 6 and 10 p.m.
Radio Cayman's 2020 Year in Review is proudly brought to you by CUC. You've got the power. Nathan General Maintenance and Construction. You break it, they fix it. Call the General at 917-7586. Rotary Central. Together we inspire. Savannah Pharmacy. Always just around the corner in Countryside Shopping Village. And Train with Dre. Get your meals right and lose weight today. No excuses, no gimmicks.
Listen to the general public. Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now.
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And we are very pleased again to have in studio the team behind the brand new culinary conference taking place in mid-January while these schools are still on their break. In the studio, we have Mr. James Miles, Ms. Shakina Bush, Ms. Georgianne Rankin, and Ms. Mahendra Brown. And here discussing again the culinary conference. Now, before the break, we had gone through the various layouts. Just to recap for our listeners, we have two different segments. We have one taking place at Clifton Hunter High School, January 11th and 12th. This will involve a day of diverse skills, from knife skills to cost of choosing food, Sri Lankan cuisine, and a dessert
plated
dessert with cassava cake and cassava ice cream, right?
Right.
And then day 2 will be a DEH hygiene course on food handling.
Right.
Then we have the second leg of the overall camp, which is taking place on the 13th and 14th. This one is being divided into two different groups. One for advanced, or those who already have some level of cooking experience,
right.
And then for beginners, and the beginner class being taught by Ms. Georgianne Rankin, and the advanced class being taught by a diversity of cultural chefs throughout Cayman.
Right.
Did I get all that correct?
Yes.
All
Correct.
right.
Shakina could be hosting it.
And Shakina's going to be hosting it and judging it.
Yes.
Most importantly, she's judging the
importantly,
judging. So I want to discuss the camp, the first part of the camp taking place at Clifton Hunter. This one is open to 100 students, and this will be taking place in their auditorium. But you have some unique elements here, the knife skills.
Right.
Talk to us a bit about why you chose the knife skills portion of this class, given that we are talking about kids involved. What are the safety elements taking place as far as this? And you mentioned Chef Bradley is the one teaching this class.
Yes.
Tell us a bit more about this leg.
One of the things that set you apart as a chef is your knife skills. It is the difference between a $10 meal and a $40 meal.
And a missing finger.
Well, the thing is, if you learn how to cut correctly, you would never get cut.
Right.
And I think that will be shown by Bradley. How you cut that you never get cut. And we've been doing this for years, and probably he get 1 or 2 cuts when he's not paying attention. Sure. Or when you're a little bit too tired. Or you're trying to go a little bit too fast. But Bradley's knife skills is amazing. And this is why...
Where is he trained?
He's trained through the National Youth Culinary Program. He works at restaurants on island now. And he's made a name for himself. He's been a dedicated student, and he has embraced the discipline of being a chef. And I think he's going to do great when he goes off to school. Yes. And he's already making his mark here on the local culinary scene. The young man, I wish he was here that he could talk for himself, but if not, you'll see his knife skills do the talking for him on the 11th of January, God's willing.
Now, why is it that you see the various... I made my joke about the missing finger, but you made the real point, which is the price point of meals changes dramatically based on a chef's knife skills.
Yeah.
Right.
Mahendra, if you don't mind jumping in here as a chef yourself.
No problem. I want to also add on, knife skills doesn't only set a dish apart from a $10 dish to a $40 dish, but it also helps cut down the cooking time as well too. So if you have one cut that's big and one cut that's small, of course the small one will go to mush and the other one will just stay firm.
Sure.
But the difference is that a more refined meal, it takes a little bit more time, a little bit more of thought behind it. So say for example, you take a pot with seasoned chicken, throw it in, brown stew it, right? But if you had some chicken that was like braised and then like you made sure you got everything cooked to the same temperature, mean that the skin is not falling off, everything is cooked properly, you have a wonderful golden color with like a nice brown sauce on the top, and you have some cut up veg. You'll of course pay the little extra dollars for that than the brown stew chicken to have the piece of chicken falling off.
Wait, you mean that's not normal?
It's normal. It's normal to us when we at home, but like home cooking, but like an actual like restaurant quality dish. If I got that at a restaurant, I would look and say, I pay more than $10 for that.
There's not many environments that I'm intimidated. All right, very few. Lawyers won't intimidate me. Chefs intimidate me because
why?
Well, because you're actually really good at what y'all do. I'm just like an amateur at home, right? Like this, but it's just I don't get intimidated. But I hear you like that. I'm like, Hold on, the chicken skin's not supposed to be falling off.
No, it's not. It's normal for like home cook, but like if you actually give it to someone for them to pay their money, you know, you have to put that kind of consideration, that thought that they're gonna actually want to pay for everything that they get.
And I like to share with people all the time that, you know, oftentimes we see a piece of artwork. Anyone can color a coloring page. But then to sit and put thought behind artwork that has so much meaning behind it is the same thing when it comes to the culinary arts.
Right.
Don't ever think for a minute that just, you know, we may be grilling a piece of chicken on the grill in the backyard is one thing, and then it comes out of a kitchen and you look at the presentation on that plate. There's so many bits and parts and pieces that go into the preparation of that.
Absolutely.
And of course, flavor quality counts. You know, you get that extra oomph. And like I said, being a part of the program with these young people for so long, I've learned so much. I've eaten a lot too, but I mean, it blows your mind when you realize the effort that goes into it, the thought. You know, they're very meticulous, and the product speaks for itself. So you know, you're willing to pay top buck when you see what's on your plate and you sit back and marvel at it before you eat it. You know, so.
Yeah, because for me, I think that a dish, it isn't just cooking. I see it as a story, I see it as a puzzle. Every piece has a meaning. You know, whenever you put stuff on the dish, you have to think, would it actually help it or would it just help something else? Like, that's how I think.
That's amazing because my thought process is like, is this going to get done in 20 minutes?
Yeah, because, you know, there's
how
some
full will
dishes,
I be?
Yeah, there's some dishes that I have actually tasted in, like, high-quality restaurants, and they bring me back to home. And that's the aim, the objective, that it's going to look like $1 million. When you taste it, it's going to taste exactly the same. It's going to taste so good. So that's my aim in general with culinary and with the young people on island, because I took some time and I saw some of the SBAs at the high schools. And I'm saying, you know, we could do so much more than this. Let me give them that exposure so that they can think, okay, I'm not going to use a tomato rose. How about I Julian or Suma crisp something and fry it and put it on top? Or how about I do like more refined cuts so I can get more? It's just stuff like that they don't know. But once you give them the exposure, they'll grow with it. They'll take it and they'll run with it.
I encourage you to do a cooking class here live on the show.
We can do it on Youth Flex, man.
No. We'll do it on Talk Today. I can't do it on Youth Flex. I can't come in. We'll do it here. Shakeen and I will come in. We'll judge the show.
No problem, man.
And I think that'll be a great.
You want just Mahindra, or you want Mahindra and Bradley?
More the merrier. I'm not gonna push away any chef. Like, who's making desserts?
Midja.
So Miss Georgiana,
she bring you a pumpkin cake, man.
Yeah.
Rock your socks off.
All right. So when we talk about food prep, Mr. Jen, are you going to be teaching a lot of that in the beginner class, like how to prepare your food, the importance of taking the time to treat it as an art form?
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, chicken may sound cheap or common, but you could do a good chicken dish.
Sure.
And that start from the washing, the cutting, the seasoning, and everything, you know. But it's sometimes it's a trying. I don't know what to say. Like
a trial and error.
Yeah.
A trial and error process. Yeah.
But once you put your mind to it, if I say I come into class today to teach you, and you going home and tell your mommy, oh, well, Miss Georgia, teach me this today. I see that parent out there tomorrow, and they could say, well, Jam will say that, oh, you cook this well, and you show me how to do this, but you don't do no measurements. It still makes me feel good, because at least they went and tell their parents that I taught them.
Of course, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
You pass down that tradition that you've actually manifested.
Yeah. And I love passing it down, because
absolutely,
it may sound bad, but nowadays you hardly find any young person that want to carry on a tradition.
Yeah.
What I learned from when I was 7 years old, I still learning that today, because that makes me who I am. That makes my pot. That gives me my flavor. That gives me my taste. From the time I was 7 years old.
I know we have a lot of parents and grandparents listening right now, and I hope they just heard the message you just said, so that because this is not a promotional show to get people to sign up. It's a show to actually pass on exactly what you've just said, to pass on a tradition, and do it through these camps and these culinary conferences. And
the camps are just the beginning. They're just the beginning.
And that's why I try my best for them to learn, to make sure that they learn something to take and run with it. You know.
Absolutely.
One of the main aims why the Youth Services Unit is so bent on sharing our culture through culinary is because we notice that a lot of young people grapple with socio-cultural identity. They don't know who they are. They're not proud of who they are, or being Caymanian. And because of that, a lot of anxiety sets in, especially when they're getting ready to go off to college, and you really can't represent your country well because nobody really took the time to teach you.
Right.
You can't really represent your family well because a lot of these traditions aren't being passed on. You can't cook for yourself because you've bought shares in Wendy's or Burger King because all the investment, you know. They don't get no return on it other than a round figure. But anyhow, and I'm watching that because my friends own the franchise, but it doesn't promote our culture. It doesn't make young Caymanians proud of being Caymanian, and because of that, they eventually get mentally ill. And you see them struggle as teenagers as they graduate. From the time they graduate from high school, they start to struggle, and when they're going off to college, it's even more. And they take on other cultures. They find that Cayman is not a place for them, and they're Caymanians. They're supposed to be the future of our country. Right. Yeah. And if they're deciding that if they go away, they're not coming back, it's Cayman's not for them. It is a blight on our part to not prepare them to be proud of who they are. And so this is the reason why the Youth Services Unit is always behind these cultural stuff, making sure that the young people know who they are, know what they're about, know that we are a resilient bunch of people, and that we can make anything from anything. And I think they'll learn that from these Learn to Cook camps. The Mystery Basket will also present now. We'll have a lot of local ingredients, so they have some kind of a hint of what's coming. But me I throw the book cut on you. Sorry, the Jamaican say me I throw the book cut on you.
You know, just to touch back as you was talking about culture, you know, I have to give a big shout out to my primary school, Northside Primary School, because that primary school, they took so much time. They were so dedicated to teach us so much. I got to learn how to braid silver thatch. I know how to plait thatch. I know how to go outside and get a conch shell and make it blow the horn. I know how to make sand from glass. They made sure they took that time, and they taught us quadrillion and all that. They taught us all these stuff. They're like, they sat down there like, we're going to teach you guys these stuff because it's fading away. So we don't want it to fade away. We want it to keep alive. So
absolutely. Thank you. On that note, we do have to go to our 1:45 commercial break. I've just been informed as well there has been a dump truck that has overturned. Where is that at, Susan? In the vicinity of Grand Harbor. A dump truck has overturned westbound traffic, so drivers on the road do be cautious and be patient with the road traffic this afternoon. Back with more Talk Today right after this.
Christmas may be a little different this year, but it will taste as jolly good as ever with KFC. Whether it's an office party, holiday fete, or family gathering, enjoy KFC's delicious, fresh, hand-breaded chicken. The KFC Festive Feast includes 10 pieces of original recipe or spicy chicken, creamy mashed potatoes, tasty coleslaw, biscuits, and a 2-liter Pepsi. KFC's holiday catering menu includes buckets of hot wings, sweet chili wings, or chicken tenders. KFC, it's good.
Tired of traffic congestion and parking problems? No problem. Just simply hop on and hop off the new and free Georgetown shuttle service to get around.
Thanks to the Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, a new shuttle service is taking passengers around the busiest parts of Georgetown every day from Monday to Friday for free.
Operating now. For times, route maps, and more, visit energy.gov.ky/shuttle today.
Designated parking is available behind the immigration building.
Because life is about enjoying the ride.
Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now? Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Listen to the general public. Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Again, we urge all of our drivers that are on the road right now to exercise a bit of patience and caution as you approach Grand Harbor heading westbound. There is an overturned dump truck down by the Grand Harbor roundabout in the vicinity of Scotiabank. On that note, let's jump back into our culinary conference. We're here in studio with Mr. James Miles from the Youth Services Unit, Ms. Shakina Bush, Ms. Georgiana Rankin, and Ms. Mohanja Brown here discussing the upcoming culinary conference, January 11th to the 12th at Clifton Hunter and the 13th to the 14th at John Gray High School. As far as registration for this conference, Gemma, how can they go about getting signed up for this?
Well, they can email nycpcayman@gmail.com.
Oh, slow down.
nycpcayman@gmail.com. Or they can call Miss Georgian, 917-6081.
All right. And again, the registration fee was how much for each one of these?
$100.
For each one?
Yes.
Okay. Can they do both?
Yes.
Okay. So it's $100 the registration, and what are the times of the actual camp itself throughout the day?
The camp and conference covers like the school day. You come on from like 8 in the morning because Miss Georgia would serve you'll get breakfast, break, and lunch.
Do you have to make your own breakfast, or Miss
No,
Georgia
Miss
making
Georgia
breakfast?
making that.
I gotta be there from 7.
So she's doing the catering for both conference and camp. So during the Learn to Cook camp, the Learn to Cook campus will actually be helping her doing all the prep for lunch.
It's not fun being a rookie.
Huh?
Being a rookie is not fun. You get to do all the grind, and everyone else gets all the food.
No, man, they get to eat the food too.
We all got to start somewhere. We all got to start somewhere. Rookies always get thrown under the bus. That's just the nature of the beast. All right. So back to the beginners are going to be helping prep with Mr. Jen.
Right.
Breakfast is served, and then run us through what the course of that day looks like again for our families at home.
Breakfast from 8 until 9. The conference will start at 9. There'll be 1-hour sessions. There'll be a break around 11, and then the break again at around 12 for lunch. And then after the conference, after the lunch, on the first day of the conference, there's another presentation for another hour. And then there's a Q&A where the chefs kind of chit-chat and ask questions and get questions from the delegates and answer questions from the delegates from 1 until 2. Each day it'll run from 8 until about 2 p.m. It kind of covers the school day. Around these camps and the culinary activities, the Youth Services Unit will be doing other events as well. We call the Friday before, which is January the 8th, we'll have a day of heritage called Splash at the Turtle Farm, at the Turtle Center, where they'll do the educational parts about the center. Why it is that the Cayman Islands is conserving the green sea turtle, what efforts are being made in terms of not only conservation, but also longevity of a near extinct species.
Sure.
So all of that would be, and it helps to bolster our national pride and who we are as a people. We are connected to the turtles for a purpose, and this is why if we have the only turtle center in the world, so be it. We have that affinity. If it wasn't for them, Columbus could have passed us by. Put it that way.
Well said.
That
well
was the first Caymanians he met.
Well, that's true. He saw those shells off the water. That's very true.
So we have an affinity with it, and it's something that we ought to embrace. And so that day, we will have a fun day down there.
Okay.
It's $15, the admission, and that covers admission and food for the day. And then the following Friday, the 15th, we having a fun day. We call it Pull Up. Mm-hmm. We're doing kickball. We have inflatables, everything at the walking track at John Gray High School, and that's free, and it's free to parents as well. It's it's pitched to be an intergenerational interaction. So we encourage parents and grandparents and stuff. It's the last Friday before school starts by, so you come and unwind a bit. Chef Ratcher will be actually catering at the event, so he'll be doing chicken dogs and all kind of different stuff like that.
Alrighty, we are getting pretty shy on time here. We do have one caller on the line. Let's hear a caller very quickly. Good afternoon, caller. Thank you for calling Talk Today. Hello, caller. Good afternoon. Oh, since we have lost a caller. Caller, if you are there, we do encourage you to give us a call back after our 2 p.m. headline news. All right, so Jamo, again, thank you so much for the information there. Again, if we can remind our listeners how they can get registered for this camp, please.
There's a SurveyMonkey link. I would probably have to leave that link with you. I don't have it here.
Okay. But they can, there's an email address they can register, nycp@gmail.com.
And once you email us there, then we'll send you the SurveyMonkey link. You can register electronically. Other than that, we have other registration forms you can fill out. But do it electronically, and we'll get in touch with you so we can get proper registration done with sign off on liability waivers and stuff, because we will be around sharp knives and we'll be around fires.
Yes.
So we want to make sure that those protections are in place for the National Youth Culinary Program and Clifton Hunter High School.
And we also have an Instagram as well too.
Okay.
It's ky.nycp.
ky.nycp.
The flyer that we have there with the live link is on that Instagram, so they can easily click on it and register. So those are the options.
And the other phone number was 917.
Yeah, they could call me. 917-6081.
6081. If you want to call, if you're not into the Instagram or not into the SurveyMonkey, you just want to pick up a phone and make it the old school call. Yeah. Mr. Jan is here to.
Just a reminder, it's not this camp is not only for the children. The parents could come. They could come and join us too.
No, absolutely.
Because maybe they need some little
guidance.
Yeah. Not even guidance, some little
refresher.
Update.
Yeah.
Just a little refresher.
Yeah.
See what's
a refresher.
Mm-hmm.
Listen,
come along. We could have fun. The next week you could hold a party for 200 people and cook. So, come along.
You might have just scared them away.
Talking about a lot of spaghetti.
One last question I had. For those who have kids that are younger than 11, if parents want to come with them, are you opening it potentially to kids under age 11? Or is this
if parents come?
If parents come.
Yeah.
It's a safety factor.
Right.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah, because we don't want a 10-year-old cutting themselves up.
No, of course.
Yeah, but we wouldn't make a 10-year-old hold a knife anyways.
No, it's just one of those scenarios.
A knife, but it might be a plastic one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they don't know what they're doing, they could get injured.
No, absolutely correct. And we just want to make sure it's a safety thing. But it's a fantastic initiative. It's one thing that perhaps we'll see more of over the summer times.
Oh, for sure. Hopefully in summer 2021 we can actually have our summer camp. We did one this summer, the National Youth Culinary Program, but with the COVID restrictions, it was limited to 10.
Sure.
Yeah.
Everybody had to have their own equipment.
Yeah.
Everybody had to be social distant. You couldn't share anything. Everybody was wearing masks. It was kind of miserable because we were outdoors. We had it at the agriculture pavilion, so it was the heat of summer.
No,
so hopefully this summer coming we can gather indoors, and hopefully we get a feel for that from this winter camp that we have in inside.
On that note, thank you, Jamo. Again, it's a great initiative, and next time you all come into studio, we have to set a new policy that you can't come in unless you bring some food with you.
Okay, yeah.
It's not fair to come in and talk about all the food and then not bring the food with you, right?
You leave hungry.
No, man. Shakina's here. She's upset. She's got water.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's thinking, but she's thinking about something else. Yes, gravy.
Thank you so much again for all of that. On that note, we do need to go to our 2 p.m. headline news. Thank you all again. If you are looking to register for the culinary conference, again, the registration email is nycpkman@gmail.com, or you can call 917-6081 or visit them on Instagram, ky.nycp. Back with more talk today after our 2 p.m. headline news.
Today's biggest news.
Radio K-Man.
It's only 2 species that we have here on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio K-Man's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Department of Environmental Health wishes to advise the public that bins have now been placed for the public to drop off Christmas trees. Locations include Spotstock, the Cricket Grounds, Georgetown, and the Georgetown Landfill 24-hour drop-off site. In international news, MPs have overwhelmingly approved the UK's post-Brexit trade deal with the EU in a parliamentary vote. A bill bringing the deal into UK law was backed by the Commons by 521 to 73 votes after Parliament was recalled. The UK will sever its ties with the EU at 11 p.m. GMT on Thursday, 4.5 years after the Brexit referendum. At least 13 people have been killed in an attack at the airport in Yemen's second city of Aden as the new government arrived from Saudi Arabia, security sources and medics say. There was at least one explosion as ministers were preparing to disembark. Iran is to give $150,000 to the families of each of the 176 people who died when its Revolutionary Guards shot down a passenger jet last January. Ukraine has called for negotiations over the compensation and for those behind the attack to face justice. The Ukraine International Airlines Boeing 737 was struck by 2 missiles shortly after taking off from Tehran. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
For the latest in news and information,
Follow Radio K-Man on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio K-Man app or log on to our website, radiokman.gov.ky.
your voice, your choice, your radio.
Did you know that Cayman National Bank is the only bank represented across all 3 of our islands? That's right, Cayman. We're your bank and we're here for you. Visit any of our available customer service centers for your everyday banking needs, Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Fridays, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Your banking experience matters to us, and we're here to serve you.
Listen to the general public. Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio K-Man's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you are just tuning in, hopefully you aren't just tuning in. You've heard the bulk of our show. We've had a good one today. Just now in the studio, we had the members of the upcoming culinary conference from the Youth Services Unit, Mr. James Miles, Ms. Shakina Bush, Ms. Georgiana Rankin, and Ms. Mahendra Brown. Our next guest is unfortunately stuck in traffic due to the overturned truck down by the Grand Harbor Roundabout. So we'll be calling in just a little bit. That'll be Mr. Noel Williams from Williams Productions here to discuss the upcoming concert taking place tomorrow evening at the First Baptist Church on Crew Road. The concert will be featuring a number of guests from the Williams Quartet, Darnell Celestine, Jamie Ebanks, Vashti and Angelique Hurlston, Omar Walters, Jane Hanna. Oh, I don't have to read the list. We have Mr. Noel on the line now. Good afternoon, Noel. Thanks for calling in to talk today.
Hey, good afternoon, Ray. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
We're doing great. How are you doing? On 2 more days left until the end of the year. How are you feeling about it?
Just about 1 day, actually.
Just we've had a debate this whole show on whether it's 2 days left or 1 day left, and
let's say 1 day. Let's say 1 day. because I'm thinking about my concert. So just one day left for that.
Miss Susan just said 2020's got to go. It's only one day left.
Yeah. We're trying to get rid of 2020 like real fast. Like let's get this 20 out of the way, you know.
No, absolutely. And we have your. So before we get into the meat of your segment, because we haven't seen you since December 31st, 2019.
I know it's unbelievable how a year just went by so quickly. Huh? This year, even though with COVID and all that has happened, the year just flew by. So I'm kind of happy with that.
It's many have said very similar that it's been a trying year, but it absolutely has flown by. We asked all our guests today, coming out of 2020, is there any kind of new perspectives you're taking with you into 2021?
Just to get rid of everything that has happened in 2020 to stay behind. Nothing carried forward into 2021. I think that's what all we want.
Fresh start altogether.
A fresh start and a positive start. But having said that, Ray, that we here in the Cayman Islands have so much to be thankful for, and we're nothing like the rest of the world. Thanks to our government and the people here in the Cayman Islands for listening and doing such an amazing job here in Cayman, that we could be in a situation now that we don't have to be going around in a mask or social distancing. I mean, that is a tremendous achievement by the people here in the Cayman Islands.
You're absolutely correct, and it was actually brought up earlier in the show as well, and it's a testament to many neighboring jurisdictions aren't able to celebrate New Year's Eve in any capacity.
Exactly.
Other than staying at home with their immediate lockdown families. And
yeah.
So
we still have a lot to be thankful for. Thank God.
You're absolutely right. I'll thank the government, thank everyone who's actually stepped up and took responsibility for their behavior and conduct throughout the course of the past 9 months to ensure that this New Year's Eve we have the opportunity to, and this whole Christmas season, we've had the opportunity to interact with our families, to
I think everyone in the Cayman Islands decided to tap themselves on the back, because the fact is that we could have been really ignorant to the fact and just not pay attention and not obey by the laws and regulations that the government put in place. But the people that we are here in the Cayman Islands, I mean, I feel so proud to be Caymanian, actually. I am so proud of everyone in our country for the way how they have behaved and how they have just it's just so amazing to live here in our beautiful Cayman Islands.
Noel, I think everyone listening right now would agree with what you just said. Thank you for that, though. Let's jump into your event. We have your annual Williams Productions event. Now, for those who may not be fully aware, Noel Williams here has organized an event every year on New Year's Eve for the last several years. Noel,
yeah, from 2016, actually.
2016.
50th year now I'm actually having it.
Wow, 50th year. Now, if I understand correctly, this year we don't have any international artists coming down. Is that correct?
No international artists, but our local artists that we have is just as good or maybe even better. I tell you this, Ray. Every year, yes, I do bring down the international artists, but I also have such an amazing lineup of local artists at the concerts. And when you hear our local talent, and when you compare them to the overseas talent, there's no difference. Our local talent is so good. I mean, we have so much talent here in the Cayman Islands that we just need to continue to encourage our young people to continue singing and to continue doing their thing with singing here in the Cayman Islands, because their voices, and you can tell that most of them are being trained now, right? And that's a good thing for us. I can share this a little bit with you. Last year, one of our local artists that performed at the Crab Family, they were so impressed with her at the concert here. She was actually invited to open the concert for them in North Carolina. That was Jaden Hannah. We took her to North Carolina, and I can tell you, when she finished after the concert, if she had 1,000 CDs, if she had 2,000 CDs, she would have been sold out. Everyone was asking if she had CDs, like, how can we get you back and everything. So that's the kind of reception that we got when we went to North Carolina, and that's our very own Caymanian, right? So it
That's
just shows
fantastic.
that the sky is the limit for a Cayman youth, you know. And at the concert, we have so many of those young Caymanian gospel singers that is going to take the stage and they're going to blow you away.
That's fantastic, man. That's a great storyline there for. We start talking about the Williams production event that's 5 years old now, but to see that it opened a door and this opportunity for a young Caymanian singer to actually be able to be recognized here first and then be invited overseas to actually sing and open for a brand name like the Crab Family is that's amazing.
It was something really special. It was special. And they couldn't believe that they had such talent here in the Cayman Islands. I don't know why people think because we're small that we don't have talent, but I tell you, they were very surprised because Cayman people are smart people and we're full of talent here. It's just unbelievable. It's just that we have to give our youth an opportunity, give them a chance, and they will prove all of us wrong because I can tell you, we have some amazing youth that is coming up now that, I mean, the sky is the limit for them.
Nope, you're absolutely correct. So who do we have actually on the lineup for tomorrow night?
Well, we have the Williams Quartet. They have been quite a quartet to reckon with in the Cayman Islands. There is some young family, 2 brothers and 2 sisters. They have been singing throughout the Cayman Islands, I mean, and really making a mark. And when you hear them, I mean, they're going to blow you away. I know a lot of people have heard the Williams Quartet sing many times at many functions. We also have Jaden Hannah, the same one that was invited to open for the Crab Family in North Carolina. She will be one of our singers there that night. We also have Jamie Ebanks, another young singer. We have Darnell Celestine. She was the winner of our Gospel Fest last year. So a lot of talent right there. And we have Vasti and Angelique Hurlston, 2 sisters that when you hear them sing together, it's going to blow your mind. They are so good. And the man that is in the mix is Omar Walters. We call him big guy, but have a big voice, you know. He is going to be amazing and stuff also. And we have Rachel Latap. She's there to represent the Filipino community. An excellent singer. She is so good. So the singers that we have tomorrow night is gonna blow it's gonna blow everyone away. Plus we have some other singers throughout the Cayman Islands. We also have a Northside group, which is the Seaside Sisters from Northside. We also have the First Assembly Church of God. They have an amazing group that is going to grace us with their presence. And last but not least, we have a group that is flying all the way from Cayman Brac to join us here in Grand Cayman. And that's going to be the French Trio. They are such an amazing group. You need to come out and hear these singers. I mean, they're going to be so amazing. They're going to blow your mind.
That's a pretty big lineup you have lined up for tomorrow night. And what time does the event kick off?
It's going to be at 6:30.
Okay.
And the concert, every year we try to balance that night because for many years we know that the service with the churches is a big thing here in the Cayman Islands, and never ever wanted to compete against that. So the concert starts at 6:30, and it normally finishes around 9:30. So anyone who wanted to go to their church service that starts at 10:30, 11 o'clock, you would have a lot of time to get there. So the good thing is, come and enjoy an amazing concert, listen to some really good singers, and then you can go off to whether you're going to church or you're going to watch the fireworks or going to whatever you want to do, you have time to do it.
Absolutely. And the concert's at First Baptist this year.
Yeah, the first is at First Baptist. Normally we'll have that Line Center, and we do attract like a lot of people. I mean, some concerts attract up to 1,500, 2,000 people, but because of COVID this year, we wanted to do the right thing. So we went in a smaller venue, and the maximum tickets that were printed was 450. And because we don't want to go over the 500, so we're looking at those tickets that have been printed along with the performers that would bring it to the 500. So I just wanted to be very careful with that. We just wanted to abide by the rules and regulations. So there will be no more than 500 people at the concert. And this is going to be very intimate. It's going to be very, very good. And it's going to be very comfortable. First Baptist Church is a very beautiful venue. It's going to be something really special. I am so excited about tomorrow night, actually.
That's great, Noel. And
just having said that,
please.
for the Brackers, I started something on the Brack last year. We had a concert on the Brack last year, and you know the Brackers cannot be left out this year. So this year we're going to have a concert in the Brack again. We're having quite a bit of these same artists, the Williams Quartet, Omar Walters. We have the Hilton's family. All of those are traveling to the Brack to have a concert over there, and it'll be January the 2nd, which will be Saturday night coming. It'll be the Brack concert at 7 o'clock at the Aston Rudder Center.
That's amazing. I actually didn't realize that part. Okay, so I knew that you had it last year, but okay, so you have the entire group that's lined up for this year will be flying over on January 2nd.
Yeah, most of them are actually going to fly over there to the Brack because I have a group over in the Brack. They have a lineup over there also that they're going to be joining the groups from Grand Cayman and having a really big concert over there also.
That's great. So then two last questions before we go to our commercial break. Is there any cost for the Cayman Brack event?
No. Cayman Brackers are extra special. Their concert is free of charge.
You just won a lot of points right now in Cayman Brack when you just said they're extra special.
They're extra special over there. We have to treat them a little, that's our baby. Like the Cayman Brackers are like we're the big brother, and they're like the younger ones, so we have to take good care of them. So, and why is it a charge over here? And this year, every year I do champion a charity, a cause. And this year, I will be supporting Loud Silent Voices. And this has happened to do with mental health here in the Cayman Islands. So 100% of the ticket sales will be going towards Loud Silent Voices. And Ray, this is something that is very dear and close to my heart. And I think that for too long now, that us as Caymanians, whether it be within government, all our churches, as individuals, looking in the mirror, I am actually saying to myself, what can I do to help? And not just walk by some people every day and ignore the fact that we do have quite a bit of our people that need some attention, right? So I have decided this year to champion the cause of supporting Loud Silent Voices. I think that we need to make some noise with this disease that we have here in Cayman, because it's actually growing. And I was actually on a radio show this morning with one of the founding members and stuff. And just to hear her explain the whole thing, how it all started and why it was started, it really touched me in a very special way, because the fact is that when you don't even know that it's amongst you, right, and you have it in your very own home, it's there. And we ignore the fact sometimes that by some of our behaviors and stuff that happens, we blame it on something else, but not knowing that it just could be something along those lines, right? So we do really need to pay attention, Ray, and this is something that I want to really buy into, and I want to encourage every person in the Cayman Islands just to try to get behind Loud Silent Voices. Let's just make a difference. Let's just show these people that is reaching out for some help or some love or some attention that we are there for them.
Well, thank you for that. We do have to go to our commercial break. Can I ask you to stay on the line for just a moment?
Sure, no problem.
Great. Listen to me back. More Talk Today right after this.
Interested in starting a career in maintenance? Register now to UCCI's TVET Preventative Maintenance course. Students will gain practical skills and theoretical knowledge in electrical installation and repair, servicing air conditions and refrigeration systems, and more. Classes start on January 18th.
Register now on our website at connect.ucci.edu.ky/register/short courses.
Or visit us from January 6th to the 12th for face-to-face registration.
2021 is almost here, but first there's Christmas. Have you thought about a gift for you? Why not give yourself the gift of learning? Explore new opportunities to grow both professionally and personally. Skills for Life can help. Skills for Life is a government initiative that highlights various training and learning opportunities available for Caymanians to retool, upskill, advance, and access what you need to succeed in the workplace. Want more information? Visit our website, gov.ky/skills for life today.
Dream a little dream with this year's holiday sale at Powerhouse Gym, King Sports Center. Get Fit 2021 sale from December 15th to January 15th. 2-for-1 Powerhouse Gym memberships for $650 or single memberships for $350. The perfect Christmas gift or New Year's resolution. Gift certificates are available. Call 946-5464 or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, providing your fitness, recreation, and relaxation needs. Remember, fit is not a destination, it is a way of life.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and we do still have on the line Mr. Noel Williams from Williams Productions discussing the upcoming concert tomorrow night at First Baptist. Noel, if you can quickly just refresh our listeners on the event times for tomorrow and the lineup, along with the event for this coming weekend in Cayman Brac.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, Ray. And yes, the concert tomorrow night. It's Cayman's finest in concert. Performing will be Darnell Celestine, Jamie E. Banks, Vasti and Angelique Hurlston, Omar Walters, Jaden Hanna, Rachel Latap, and we're gonna have others from around the island. And our main feature is going to be the Williams Quartet. And this concert, Ray, it's going to blow you away. I mean, I know in the past we have had overseas artists that come to our island, but there's no longer no separations with talent and stuff also, because our Cayman talent is just as good or even better than the overseas artists. Tomorrow night is going to be at the First Baptist Church, and it's going to be at 6:30, and that's the First Baptist on Crew Road. Admission is $15. You can get your tickets at Funkatang and Christian Enlightenment Center. I would really like to mention some of our sponsors that have made this possible, and for over the years, they have been really good to this cause, really good to this concert. You have the Office of the Premier, you have Burger King, you have 87.9 FM, Hydes and Son, you have the Ministry of Health, Environment, Culture and Housing, you have Health City, Cayman First, DMS Organization, the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport, and our one and only, the best sponsor in the world, Radio Cayman.
Thank you so much for that, Noel. And a big shout out again to all of your sponsors again who have supported this initiative for the past 5 years. It's grown tremendously, and We do should remind our listeners as well, though. You made a great point there. We still are operating under COVID 500 capacity events.
So there will be no more than 500 persons at the concert, and that's why we went to a much smaller location. I know First Baptist Church, they hold about 700 to 800 persons, but we decided to only print 450 tickets, and with our local talent, with the artists, it's going to be up to 500. So there will be no more than 500 persons at the concert, and this is something that we really wanted to do this year, because we just want to set an example too that, not because every year we have a concert and we normally have 1,000, 1,500 people to 2,000, that we will do the same thing this year. We didn't want to do that. We wanted to respect the COVID, and that's what we intend to do. So there will be no more than 500 persons. If you didn't get your ticket, you need to get them now, because there's very little tickets that is left. So go out there to your outlets or give me a call and to get your ticket.
That's great. And then for January 2nd, 7 p.m. at the Aston Ruddy Civic Center, again, capacity 500. Are there tickets available for that, or is that just show up?
No, this is, so it's going to be a 500 max. There will be no tickets. We're thinking that it's going to be around to 450 people in Kim Brack. So it'll be only a certain amount of chairs that is put out there. So we're going to abide by the social distancing also in the Brack. So the Brack concert is going to be Saturday night coming, which is June the 2nd at 7 o'clock p.m. at the Aston Ruddy Center. So I know that I've been getting a lot of calls from the Brackers, and they're really excited about their concert over there. So right after the Grand Cayman, we'll be flying over to Cayman Brack for their concert.
That's great. Noel, thank you so much for taking time to call in today, and hopefully you're made your way out of traffic by now.
Yeah. Just unfortunate what happened on the road, but it seems that everyone is okay, thank God.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. But anyway, Ray, I want to thank you and thank Radio Cayman for having me. And I'm just encouraging everyone to go out and get their tickets today. Just support a really good cause. Support our local talent. I would like that we support them just as much as we've been supporting the overseas artists for these last 5 years. I think this is why we need to encourage our youth and our young talent that we have here. So let's just come out and support them just as much as we have supported the other overseas artists and stuff in the past. And just remember, I just want to say a special thank you for Loud Silent Voices and Mental Health, for giving me the opportunity to help you guys a little bit, to carry on the work that you've been doing. Kudos to you for having such a big heart to be able to look at this problem that we're having and to address it and to take it on.
Very noble of you, Noel. Thank you so much for calling in, and all the best for your event and for the new year when it comes around.
Thank you so much, and Happy New Year to you and everyone at Radio Cayman, and as a whole, the whole Cayman Islands. Happy New Year. God bless, and I hope all the best for you and your families.
Thank you, sir. On that note, we will need to call it a wrap for today's show. Thank you again to all of our listeners out there in Radio Cayman Nation, to Miss Susan Watson for holding down the fort, to the team from the NDC working the buses for tomorrow night, the team behind the first culinary conference taking place in January, and of course to Mr. Noel Williams from Williams Productions for his event tomorrow night at First Baptist. On behalf of the entire Radio Cayman family, thank you again for sharing your afternoon with us. I'm Raymond Singh. God bless and have an enjoyable rest of your Wednesday.
After all that talk.